So as our tester is coming up to the side of the bus, we're going to make sure that our master flasher is in the off position. We're going to open our door with this switch. So as the tester enters the bus, we're going to tell him that I'm going to leave my key in the on position so that I can check a few things in the back. So those things are going to be our window emergency exits to make sure that the buzzer goes off. We're also going to look at our floor to make sure it's not spongy. We're going to look at all of our seats to make sure that they are secure. All of the foam pad is in good condition. We're going to check our emergency exit hatch to make sure that a sound goes off. That's the reason that we did leave the key in the on position. That way it has power. That is working condition. So that emergency hatch is working nicely. We would check both of those the same way, the front and the back. We're going to look at all of our windows throughout the bus to make sure they're not cracked, they're not broken, they're not falling out. But we can see that we have emergency exits in our windows. So we're going to check that those work as well. We'll open that up, push it out. That is sounding off the alarm, and it stops when we secure that. We would check all 4 windows the same way as we did that. But we're going to go ahead and make our way to the back of the bus so that we can continue to check the chairs and also the floor. We would check this hatch like we did the front one, but we also want to check the back door to make sure that the emergency buzzer does sound when we raise the handle, and it does. So as we go back to the front, we're going to continue to check our chairs and our floor, and to continue all the way to the front. As we're approaching the front, the tester will probably take a seat right here in this first chair. So now we're going to just sit in our driver's seat. We're going to apply our seat belt, checking that it is not frayed or ripped, the belt itself. We're going to attach that in, connect it, make sure that that connection is nice and tight. And we're going to continue on with our pre-trip. We're going to check our window, making sure that it opens and closes freely. We're going to check our mirrors to make sure that they are set for us, that they're clear of debris, all of those mirrors. We're going to go through and check our visor to make sure that it is secure, not cracked or broken, then it stays in place where we put it. Our mirror, we're going to check that to make sure it's secure, not falling off. It's where I can see all of the students. We're going to look at our fans to make sure they're secure, not going to fall off. We're going to look at our windshield to make sure that it is secure to the bus, that there's no debris making it hard to see out of. Since we're looking at our windshield, we'll go ahead and push in our windshield wipers and the washer fluid to make sure that that works, and it does, so we can let that off. We're going to check our dash to make sure that it is secure, it's not going to fall off, and it is in good condition. We're going to grab our steering wheel and make sure that there is not excessive play. We're going to go ahead and hit our horn to make sure that that is working as well. Now we're going to go through our switches. We're going to look at our left, low, high. Our fans are working. The right, low, high fan is working. Our step well heater, low, high is working. Our driver heater and defrost, low, high, that's working. Our rear heater, low, high, working. Boost pump, it's on. We can see the red light indicates it's on, and also we can hear it. Our heated mirror, the red light indicates that it is working. Our air horn, that does work as well. Our strobe light, the red light indicates it's on, or you can find something outside to see it reflecting off of. Our dome lights, they are in working condition as we can see them illuminating the interior of the bus. Our door switch, we're going to go ahead and close that and make sure that our door is in working condition, and it is. At this time, we're going to turn on the master flasher. That way it powers our overhead lights. We're going to click our flasher light, and we're going to tell the tester our flasher light indicator, the amber one, is working on our dash. So is our parking brake indicator. We're going to turn our override button on and tell him our stop sign came out, our crossing arm went out, and also our red light indicator is working on the dash. We're going to turn those off. We're going to check this no noise. We're going to turn that on and see that it did kill the radio, so that is in working condition as well. We're going to check our climate controls right here and make sure that they're in working condition and good proper order, and they are. So we've done a few of our light indicators. We're going to go ahead and finish those off. We're going to do our hazard indicator. Those are working. Our left turn signal indicator is working. Our right turn signal indicator is working. And our high beam indicator is working. So now we're going to do our brake test. So to start that, we're going to make sure that our key is in the on position, but our engine is off. But we have not enough air pressure. So what we have to do is a safe start. So what we're going to do with a safe start is make sure that we are in neutral. Our parking brake is set, and we're going to cover our foot brake. Then we will start the vehicle. It can also indicate that our ABS and our DEF lights have went off. We're now going to let our air pressure build to governor cutoff, which is between 120 and 140 pounds of pressure. You can hit the throttle to speed up that process, as long as you don't have too many RPMs. All right, so we heard that spit off noise, so that means that we are cut off. So now we're going to turn our key back to the off position, but then put it right back to the on, key on, engine off. So at this time, we're going to start our brake test. So what we're going to do is cover our service brake, push that down, and release our parking brake. After the initial drop in pressure, so we can see it's leveled out, we're going to time for 1 minute to make sure that we do not lose more than 3 pounds of pressure in that minute. You can ask the tester, will you time this for me? Or if he says you do it, make sure that you wait at least 60 seconds, that full minute. So we'll say that the tester said he would do it, and he says, okay, that's enough time. Perfect. We have not lost any air pressure, so we're going to continue on to the next step, which is going to be pumping it down till we get to 60 pounds of pressure. What we're looking for there is a light and also a buzzer to go off, indicating that we're losing air. All right, perfect. So we have our light and we have our buzzer. The next step is we're going to pump it down to 30 to make sure that the emergency brake will set with that much air loss. And it worked perfectly. So at this time, we're going to take the key, turn it to the off position. We're going to turn our lights off. We're going to take the key out and go remove the chocks from the back tires before we continue on. So the way we'll do that is just go out of the bus, go back to the back tires, and remove our wheel chocks. That way that we can move freely. Then we will return to the bus, to the driver's seat. So as we go back to the driver's seat, we will put our key back into the ignition. And we'll do that safe start again, which is making sure that we are in neutral, our parking brake is set, and covering our foot brake. We're going to put our seatbelt back on because we are in the driver's seat. And now we're going to let our air build up to governor cutoff, which is 120 to 140 pounds of pressure. As we're waiting for that to happen, we're going to go over our gauges. We're going to look at our DEF gauge. That's at 3/4 of a tank, so that shows that it is working because it was a little more the last time we drove. Our transmission temperature gauge is just over 100, and that will increase as the transmission works. Our water temperature gauge is only at 140 because the engine has not been running. As it runs, it will get up to normal operating temperature. Our oil pressure indicator it will fluctuate with the throttle. So we can see the movement there. It's going up and down as I use the throttle. The same with our RPM gauge. It will go up and down as we use the throttle. Our miles per hour gauge will be checked in a moment when we finish our brake test. But our voltmeter or gauge is at 14. That shows everything is properly charging and we're nice in the blue. Our fuel tank is just above 3/4, which is correct because it was more the last time we drove. And our air pressure gauges are both working as they are building air pressure. So we're going to let those build to governor cutoff. At this time you can look around and make sure that you have said everything that you need to say in the cab area. We have just a few more things with our brake test until it is complete. Wait for that to build to the 120 to 140 governor cutoff. And there it is. So at this point we're going to check our parking brake to make sure that it is working properly. The way we're going to do that is we're going to cover our foot brake, put our vehicle in drive, leave the parking brake set. You can see that it is lit up right here. We're going to now hit the throttle, but we did not move. That shows that that is working properly. Next, we're going to check our foot brake or service brake. We're going to do that by releasing the parking brake. We're still in drive. We're going to pull forward and make sure that it doesn't jerk one way or the other, or that it's not bouncing. At this time, we're also going to check our miles per hour gauge. All right, we hit the brakes, it stopped smoothly. Our miles per hour gauge worked. We're going to put it in neutral, set the brake, and that completes our pre-trip.